how I develop my personal trading plans. I believe to be successful as a trader, you have to keep it really simple. So the way that I do it personally is as simple as I can possibly imagine. You have to go back through the Freedom Trader series, especially part 6A and B, to understand, what setups I'm looking for, etc. Because I'm just going to run real quick through how I actually develop the plan, and not specifically in great detail. I'll refer to the setups a little bit, but I'm not going to go into great detail. You'd have to go back through various videos that are on our YouTube channel, or look at part 6A and B of the Freedom Trader series. And part 6 is going to continue with a number of different posts, and part 7 will too, the trading plans. So part 6 is for trading setups, and part 7 is for trading plan. So how I do it is I have my TradingView membership and my charting set to provide a list of momentum stocks for each day. And you can set the parameters however you want. I set the parameters so that I'm not looking at, stocks with no volume or that type of thing. It's mainly volume is the real issue. So you'll have to find your own preferred setup methods, but I look for liquidity. I don't like low floats. I don't like the unpredictability of them, of course, being that I'm a system trader. Liquidity is my friend. So that's the main thing behind this list. But anyway, these are stocks that have moved for the day. I also have an OTC list of stocks that moved for the day. And what I do for my day trading plan and for my swing trading, what I really do is I start with my swing trading, and then I bring the time frames down to day trading. So here's an example. PTLA, it was up 46% on Friday. This is Sunday night, by the way. So I simply bring up the chart quick. Not quick when charting and the internet's cooperating with me. The one disadvantage of TradingView is, of course, if you get lots of charting going, it'll slow right down on you. But when you trade technically, you really don't have a choice, because the other services don't provide what I need as that type of trader. So what I'm looking for is liquidity. So there was 9.2 million shares traded for the day. I'm also looking for the 200 moving average, and this is where price got up through the 200. This is the one setup. So you're either trading, a break of the 200, or a 52-week breakout, or a bottom play like a washout, or just a stock that's oversold or bottomed. Those are the three main setups that I trade. I guess another fourth setup would be trending stocks. My favorite setup, though, is when it breaches through the 200 and the 20 pushes it up, and it gets follow through with the 50. So on this charting, the pink is the 200, the light blue there is the 20, the 50 is the purple, and the 100-day is the blue. So this is what I'm looking for right here, specifically. Now, sometimes I'll go early and I'll work through the MAs before the 200, but really what I'm looking for is here. My indicators are a stock RSI here, MACD is here, and squeeze momentum is down here. You'd have to Google squeeze momentum or go and view and understand what that is. It's a custom indicator that has very high probability in TradingView. So I just bring it up and I say to myself, well, PTLA, it's got up and through, and okay, so this one fits, the setup. Now it's a matter of, okay, where is it in its cycle? Now, for some reason, it's up 46%. Let's take a look at the news. So it looks like it had news. And so I would research that news, do a little bit of fundamental, but the reality is that fundamentals are late to the game. The charting knows before the fundamentals will tell you. So if you get good at the charting and good at your, understanding what these charts tell you, more than just, here's your MAs and here's your volume and here's your indicators. I can tell you a lot from a chart. But anyway, I'll do a little bit of fundamental research. So here's my fundamentals on the company, and I'll fly through that. But really what I'm looking for is how my chart sets up, and you'd have to understand the different setups. To understand the different setups and the charting, my advice to you is to go through the midday reviews on our YouTube channel, because every day for an hour we review these setups exactly. Or just get into the room. Get into a membership. They're cheap, relative, right? Things like our algorithms and oil trading room and stuff, those are a little more of an investment. But getting into our trading room for $100 a month or whatever it is to get an idea of how this works. I've never had a member say, it doesn't have the value. But anyway, this is what I'm doing. This is the process. So this particular setup is a bowl, so it's testing the top of the bowl, and our members of course know what that means. There's not a lot of history to this chart, so I don't like that. There's a number of things that I look for, and you've got to just get into our midday reviews or get into our room to understand exactly what I'm looking for. This particular setup is okay. It's not like a AAA. It's like a B setup. Mind you, if it gets up over the bowl and breaks out, this could be a serious play, but I wouldn't put this personally on my watch list. Now, once I do put them on my watch list, like say I did, and what I would do is I would set alarms. So if I was looking for example, in here, if I was looking for when price broke the 200 MA, I would set an alarm for that. If I was looking for the MACD to cross over, I would set an alarm for that. And quite typically what I'll do is I'll work out to my weekly, and I'll set my main alarms here for whatever indicator I'm looking for. And again, you just have to get into the room or get into those videos to understand, because I can't go through every one of them right now, because this video would become an hour long. But that's all I do. And now when I say that I set it up for my swing trading, I set up all the alarms for my triggers. And you'd have to read through or listen to my videos to understand what triggers I'm looking for and setups. So anyway, then what I do is, so after I've set my alarms, I literally just go to the next one. Now, if it meets the requirements, then I'll update my swing trading. What we do is we process 3 swing trading reports a week, so we cover the same stocks over and over and over again. And that scenario, like in this scenario, I would add this to that and start covering it if it was if it was an A plus or better trade setup. In our swing trading, we have whatever it is, 60 or 70 stocks that we're covering. I do the same process for all of those every week. But yeah, so if one off of this hot list here for the day meets what I'm looking for, then I'll add it to my swing trading list. And then what I do is I bring down the time cycles, so I look at not just the weekly and the daily, and then I look at the day trades, and then I'll bring it down to my hourly. I'll take a good look at the hourly, see where the hourly is. This one's in breakout mode, and testing the bulls, so it's a little difficult to explain how I would break this down into the daily. But I go to the hourly, I go to the 30-minute, 15-minute, 5, and then I get set for the next day. And if it's looking like it's going to be set up for the next day, then I put it on my pre-market watch list for our members, which would be like yourself putting it on your day trading watch list. So really, I start at the swing trading level, qualify them into there first, and if they qualify into there, then I qualify them in my day trading plan. SNCR, now I'm running 60, 70, 80 that I look at every week, plus these, right? So I'm looking at 20 to 30 a day, plus the 60, 70, 80 that we cover. And I say 60 to 80 because it varies. in the swing trading, right? So I'm always looking at plays. So this is why I don't have to listen to the noise. I don't have to listen to CNBC or look at Twitter and see what people think is hot or whatever, because it's a disciplined process, right? So SNCR. So I go back out to the daily because I'm first looking at the daily. I want to see if it's setting up on the daily. So there's my 200 way up there. It's got through the 20. It popped up to the 50. Obviously, there's news on it. So if I go over here and I take a look at my news quick, well, there's my liquidity, 16 million shares. So I got lots of liquidity. And let's look at my news here. So what was that on the 23rd? So yeah, takeover offer. So it gets a little bit of a pop. It's a bottom play. Here's the gap potential, to $23. Right now it's trading around 16. This is one that I might put on the watch list. So I would set my alarms. It's either going to be a price alarm. In this situation, I would look for, something like that. But you'd have to go through my, I'll say it one more time, you'd have to go through my trade setups to understand what the different setups are and how I would chart this and set my alarms. So this one, isn't an A+, it's like a B. But, I might put that on my watch list for the next day. Okay, let's go to the next one on the list. So RWLK, up 33% on the day. It's getting really close to the 200. So at this point, what I would do is I would definitely put this on the watch list. So, and I probably did. I can't remember if I went through them all at the end of the day on Friday or not. Let's just take a look. So what I do is I save them. You can tell by that white arrow that I did in fact save it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the ones that I've saved. Now some of them I'll make public on my feed, some of them I won't, right? So here's June 23rd. You already spent $59 for whatever. Don't lock the power of we have the best plan. Like, I don't know what's wrong with TradingView. Like, we bought the best. Like, we have the best of everything in TradingView. Anyway, TradingView software is funny stuff. So this was on Friday, right? June 23rd. You can tell if they're public or not because there's a locked symbol by the ones that are locked. But anyway, SPWR was one trade setup I was looking at from Friday. Well, let's open this one really quick because this will give you an idea, a quick idea without having to run through a whole bunch of them of one of the main setups that I look for. So you can see it here in the viewer. The 200 days, the pink, so price got above it, it popped above, and the MAs, I have them really thick here because I was working with some traders, but I also did some more charting, and there's lots more that I can do on them once I have them qualified and I really like them, and there's they follow my setup. Then I start doing some intensive charting on them. This is basic charting, but still more than the average person would do. Anyway, these purple lines, these are natural resistance and support. So this one went on my watch list, and so now I've built in my natural resistance and support. These other lines are my fib lines. These diagonal lines here are diagonal fib lines, support and resistance, and where they get placed and how they get placed is a whole discipline in itself. And then this white line is just me showing the traders in our room an extension of the bowl that's possible and where that bowl might come out. So very specific targets. For this one I've got a target up in here, and it depends, there's decision to decision, but I get the setup ready, and the MACD on this one crossed. And this zone in here, this gray zone, is where the turbulence is going to be. So if it gets through there, it's got a high probability of getting through the full cycle of what I had told the traders is possible. So that's just an example of some of the charting. But anyway, so that goes on to my watch list because it's set up, it's through the 200. And this bull scenario is one of the main scenarios that I follow. So that's one example. Let's run through another one. CLLS just crossed up on daily, watching resistance to see if it confirms. So let's take a look at this one real quick. MACD just crossed up. So the MACD is, it's an indicator I'm looking for. So this was, one off of the hot list that I went through, and the MACD was trending up. So there's a whole series of these indicators that cause a setup to be, decent or not. And then once you qualify, okay, it's a decent setup, volume's coming up, it's over the 200. It held the 100 here, got a pop off the 100, but didn't hold it. It actually tested the 200 and popped at the 100. That purple line there, that's natural resistance. The MACD crossing up and the squeeze momentum indicator trending and stock RSI trending. So it's a good setup, but it's got a test here, right? So I've set my alarms on it. There's an alarm there. So here's the list of my alarms to give you an idea. So these are my alarms that are set right now for my various stocks. Of course, these change all the time, but it'll be anything from the MACD to the stock RSI to the squeeze momentum indicator, volume, where the MAs are, where they're crossing, and your support and resistance. And then once we get into a play, then I build out the decisions in the play, right? So this is all very systematic. There's a process to it. But let's take another quick look at one here. So if you're running around, on social media or whatever, just trying to get setups, that just won't work. I'm telling you right now. It's not the best way. The best way is to work your own plan. So here's one. IMDZ in the bull, textbook trade setup, classically awesome. So that came out of the bull, exactly how we work it, and it got its pop, and it's working its way through. ABEO, another chart setup. Let's take a quick look at this one here, see how it looks. Now you can always follow me on TradingView or on Twitter or on StockTwits or whatever, but I don't post, like I only post some, right? Like, maybe 1 in 10 that make it to my list, because of course I've got subscribers that I run a subscription system, right? So anyway, here's one where prices got up over the 200 and it's working its way above the 200 again. It's got a very critical test. So I explained that to the members, and there's that's again a setup, a detail. Lots of volume, stock RSI is up, MACD's up, squeeze momentum is trending. So that one made my watch list to see if it gets up and over its resistance. But the nice thing about learning your charting and learning your setups is that your trading plan becomes very easy, because you know what you're looking for, and you just you set all your alarms and away you go. And it just becomes one at a time. So to keep it simple for you, let's forget about setups and let's just talk about how I actually put together that trading plan. So how I put that trading plan together is literally the hot stocks for the day. I go through each one and figure out if they follow my setups. And the main setups I follow are getting through the 200, and there's a whole series of things to look for there. Bottom plays or washouts, snapbacks, gap fills, and then now that was all one category, right? Here, bottom plays and washouts for potential gap fills. And then the third is 52-week highs and breakouts and trends. That would be number 4, trending stocks. So I just go through each one, literally click on them and go through them. So here's Kara, one of our members, was doing very well on Friday in this one. I'm in the wrong part here. Gotta get back over to the main part. Okay, so this is where we were. Kara. So we'll look at one more really quick. So here's Kara on the daily. It's at the top of its bowl. It's probably 52-week high. That's my guess. Yep. It was up 13% on the day. It had some news, and so it's revved. Is a 52-week high a watch for me? Yeah, it is. Is it A+++? No. The best of the best are when the 200 is getting breached and it comes back and it tests right here. You see that right there at the 200? There's entry number 1. Comes back, it gets Momo again, entry number 2. Comes back, gets Momo again, entry number 3. Comes back, gets Momo again, entry number 4. Comes back, gets Momo again, entry number 5. So that's why I go 1/5. 1/5, 1/5, 1/5 to the full entry. You will find that you will see this over and over and over and over again in your chart setups. And when you get really good at it, you'll know how to sell at the top and rehit at the bottom, sell at the top, rehit at the bottom, sell at the top, and all the way through. Because you bring your time frames down and you know what your indicators are to sell and to buy each one, but you base it off the daily and the weekly. And then you just bring your time frames down for your day trades. And that's how the two lists get built. As far as my algorithmic modeling watch lists, totally different story. Can't even get into that right now. That's a totally different program and way of trading. Pardon me, but sorry about that. But the only reason I mentioned that in the blog post and that was a trading setup is because it is. It's just that I can't explain that in short. So just to summarize really quick, I use TradingView. I go to my hot list for the day. I have it set so that they're proper or high liquidity stocks, because when you're a technical trader and not a fundamental trader, you need liquidity. And liquidity provides predictability for technical traders that rely on setups and not just fundamental setups or some kind of outlying setup. I know there's a lot of traders that can trade outlier plays. I'm not one of them. I'm a technical trader, and so this is how I've set my watch list, and then I just go through each one, and if they qualify to my setups, then I add them to my watch list, and that's how I develop a trading plan. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.